2, and here's Modi. Hi, everybody. So good to be back in the studio, and our guest today is Kosha Dillz. We also have, of course, Periel.
Hi.
Good to see you. I mean,
What's going on?
We've met before. You,
Yeah.
just so people know who you are a rapper.
Yes.
That's definitely the word that defines you. You are a Jewish rapper. You have a very similar history to me in a few things we'll talk about. But you've been on Billboard Magazine, LA Magazine. You are doing this thing this week called Bald Fest.
Yeah, Bald Fest.
And it's getting crazy amounts of...
New York Post, late night with Stephen, what's his name?
Stephen Colbert, yeah.
Stephen Colbert, The Independent, Times of London. Lad Bible just did a huge post, like 11 million followers. Just a lot. So it's a lot. It's a lot of press I never got.
It's amazing. You know, I always look for similarities I have with whoever's on, and we have a lot of similarities.
Cool.
First of all, one thing, you have a new album out.
Yeah, nobody cares except you.
Nobody cares. By the way, comedians, when they talk to each other,
Yeah.
and we're harsh. We're harsh with each other.
Yeah.
And if someone says, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm working in Philly this week, nobody cares.
Right.
Nobody cares is one of the first thing comedians say to each other. How's it going? How's your set? Oh, it was a great set. Nobody cares.
It's funny, I have a song called Nobody Cares. The album was originally titled Nobody Cares, but then I wanted to do a Kickstarter for it, and then I'm like, no, well, you're not going to raise money if you keep sending it to people that says Nobody Cares album. Call it Nobody Cares Except You. So they feel like, really, I care? Yeah, I will give you money for it. We raised, 20 grand to put it together, but just the power of two words.
Yes,
Nobody cares.
nobody cares.
Except you.
Oh, except
I mean, you don't care about me, but now after the podcast, you might listen to
but
it once
you
and
do
be
care.
like, oh,
No, comedians love each other, artists love
Yeah.
each other, but you want to show that you're blatant with them. You're like,
Yes.
I'm not like,
I'm not coming to your show.
No, I'm not coming to your show. It's like it's just nobody cares, but but we do care. We do care.
Of course you do. If anyone cares, you care the most.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So, like, you also have Israeli parents.
Yes.
So tell me, they were born in Israel?
My dad was born in Romania and then moved there,
Okay.
Transylvania, when he was 13, 14. And my mom was born there right before it became Israel in February of 48. And then, my brothers were born there. And then I was born in the New Jerusalem, New Jersey.
New Jersey,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
So I was I was born in Israel, and we moved here. But the experience of growing up with Israeli parents,
Yeah.
it's a trip
It's very much a trip.
because you're with your friends and you come home and it's a different world,
Yeah, it's different, and also Israeli parents are different than American Jewish parents, and we don't have Israeli parents don't have the need to live in a Jewish community. They're like, we're Israeli, they just come
Right.
It's like we're
The traditional,
Yeah.
even though you don't keep Shabbat, you say Shabbat Shalom.
exactly.
It's everything's in Hebrew in the house, so it's like you have it there. Yeah, it's hot. I grew up in the Five Towns. You grew up in
Jersey,
in
yeah,
New Edison, New Jersey. Okay.
There was a north side, which is a little bit more affluent. I feel like, a lot of Italians and Jews. And then there was the south side, which is just really diverse, Pakistani, Indian, white trash, and us, That's what I feel. South Edison, yeah, and then that was it,
And I don't just again. I always look for the similarities. You were, and this is you were in a game, video games.
Yeah, NBA 2K.
NBA 2K, and
I'm a celebrity rapper in there.
so you know what? I did Grand Theft Auto,
You're in Grand Theft Auto?
and
God,
I
that's
played
coded.
Isaac. I played this Hasidic guy. It was a stretch. I played a Hasidic guy that stole money. It was a big stretch for me. I had to get into character, but
But what a better character to play than the Hasidic guy stealing money in Grand Theft Auto.
Exactly. It was.
I would be honored if I did that,
It was fun. I didn't realize how big it was when I was doing it.
So I could take a selfie with you when I play the game next.
People still send fan mail and stuff. They want to have all the characters and the picture of all the characters that were on it. And
Which one was that? Like the first one, second one? I mean,
I was in 2 or 3. Because they kept calling me back for voiceovers for stuff. We did this, you get dressed in this uniform with little balls all over you that glow, and then you run around in this like gymnasium, and doing things, and then the camera catches you and puts you on. It was
Sounds
incredible.
If you get to like bring your friend to work day, like that's the one I want
That's
to go
the day
with
to
you.
bring your
Don't
friend
invite
to
me
work.
to your cine gigs, you know. Like I want to go to Grand Theft Auto. Mine, they took I think 7 pictures around my head, and they said, which one do you want to be? And I'm like, well, I want to be 5'8". There was a bunch of rappers, and I won like a rap battle, Hot 97, Summer Jam, and then I tried to enter my song to be the song that they had in the game. So I took like
Okay.
2nd place or 3rd place. So they're like, listen, you didn't get your song in, but how about we make you a character? And I was passing out flyers at South by Southwest in Austin. I met the marketing guy from 2K, this dude Ryan, who I don't know where he is today, but he made me a character. And then I said, well, I want to be, you know, you pick your attributes of like what you want. And I'm like, I want to be the Jewish people. And I was like, it was like Jordan Farmer and Omri Caspian. The guy's like, well, they're not like the highest attributes in the game. And then people were messaging me like, Kosha Dillz, you suck. Like, you're like the worst player in the thing. But yeah, that was it, you know. I was the Jew, and then I always tell that when I do like the inspirational Jewish stories. I'm like, even when it came to NBA 2K, I never faltered, and I chose the Jewish path. While all the other artists picked, you know, LeBron James, making me like LeBron James, you know.
Did you ever? So you talk about like that. You have a Jewish following. You have a huge Jewish. You're a Jewish rapper.
Yeah.
You're a rapper, and you happen to be Jewish.
Yeah.
So it makes you a Jewish rapper.
Yes. Not a rapper who's Jewish.
Right. So I'm a Jewish comedian.
Yeah.
I'm not a comedian who is Jewish. You know, I mean, that's a
Talk
big
about
it's a
it.
big difference, and that.
Throw it on
But
the
you
table.
have to embrace it. Did you at one point? Look, we're not like all on that.
No, I was when I first came out. The name Kosha Dillz is it's a sexual reference. I got it when I was 17. I'm 40. So my buddy's name was Yak Balls. So I was Kosher Dill. And we were, you know what I'm saying? Like in my mind, like this was a
That's
great,
so
and also just a
funny.
Jewish thing. I remember being in a supermarket. I'm like, oh, I'll pick this name, Kosher Dill. This is perfect. And then I went to my first battle. This is like 99 in Eureka Poets Cafe. And they're like, Kosher Dill pickles. And I was like, this is not the look. So a lot of artists were like, there was MF Doom, Pac FM. Everyone was doing the 2 letters. So I was KD, Kosher
Right.
Dill, Flow, KD Flow. So I was that for about 5 years. And then after I got like locked up and I was getting sober and I was still rapping, the first music I put out, I'm talking like KD on the track, but I changed it to Kosha with an A and Dillz with a Z.
Right.
And my record label, which is still my PayPal because everyone send me money, it's Matzah for Your Mouth Records. Matzah for Your Mouth Records. And it's a picture of a matzah ball eating another matzah ball, eating matzah. It's like...
That's great.
That's great.
Your merch is amazing, by
Yeah.
the way.
Thank you.
Your merch is definitely amazing.
You know, the cool thing about merch is that you don't have to be. I could have better merch than you. I don't have to be funnier than you, but I got better merch than you. You know what I'm saying? You could be
Yeah.
the worst comedian, the best merch. Just think about that. So it's a way to like level up if you're just clever, but you can't deliver it. You could always have great merch. This is just a thing in life, you know. You could always have great merch.
And it's incredible what people see as great merch. We also do characters.
Yes.
So
That's new for me. You're an OG with the characters.
not OG. I'm not OG. I'm during the pandemic,
Uh-huh.
we're locked at home, and I started doing these 2 characters, Yoili and Nir, and I was just we made T-shirts. They weren't going that well. We made the mugs. People just love the mugs.
People like mugs, right? I never made coffee mugs yet, but yeah, mugs. It's such
It's first of all, it's a good price range. They buy it and they have it on their table. And they send you a picture of them having their coffee with it.
Oh, that's
it's
cute.
amazing. Mugs for my audience. It might not be your audience. It might not be coffee drinkers. I don't know what, but
no. I should make some. I should make some mugs.
yeah. And you said like you briefly when I was locked up.
Yeah, so
Just in case my audience
17
doesn't know your past.
What does it locked up means, or like in jail? I'd say, I grew up as a wrestler, so we didn't come from like some Jewish camps. I never did any of these BBYOs, none of that stuff. No offense to any, you know what I mean? I just never did any of this Jewish stuff.
Right.
This is new. I was a wrestler, and I was in college, Rutgers, and like I kind of came from the sports. People are just intense. Like we dropped 8 pounds in a day, 10 pounds in a day. We're very addictive personalities.
Right.
You got to make weight. You're vomiting. You know, like all that. You know, like stuff that would be considered bulimia. You know, and then switched this to drugs, and selling drugs. And then I got arrested 18, 20, 21, and then spent 21st birthday in jail. And then like got sober, 22, turning 23 last time in 2004. And, in that time when I was like in a rehab, and that's when sort of the Kosha Dillz thing was born. And then I started identifying as Kosha Dillz. And that was just for many years of my life, I would say.
So how many years are you sober now?
17.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
And
Thank
much
you.
hatzlacha, much success with that.
I need it. I really do.
Yeah.
It's really hard to talk about because you're like, yeah, I know. I like doing I used to sell cemetery plots door to door and like cocaine to like same people, like, and then I like it's like kind of stealing a car if like you just drive it and just like never return it, but you just parked somewhere else. I was like thinking like, is this count as an armed robbery? Like if you didn't get caught and all these things, they're like, we want you to tell us your story. But don't tell all of the story, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna scare
Tell
everyone
whatever
away.
you want to tell.
No,
This
but that's how
audience is very...
yeah.
Who says that though? Who tells?
When like people, because I tell my personal story.
Yeah.
Especially a lot in the Jewish spaces about addiction. But like that's what I come from. Is that I come from, guns, drugs, and things like that. And it wasn't too many guns, but it was a couple. And it's like a little bit of what's too much or less, or how much you share of your story, because it feels weird because I'm so far removed from it. Like now I'm.
No, but the Jewish world is definitely, they embrace that. They don't. They, listen, I've done many organizations that help people with addictions, Emunim and people that were in jail. The Aleph Institute out in these are it's tshuva. You're doing repentance, and it's funny because we're in the 10 days of repentance now. This is the Aseret Yemei Tshuva, the 10 days
Before
of tshuva.
Yom Kippur.
Between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur is the days of repentance. You repent for all you've done, and it's.
I need to repent
Sounds like
we
you-
all do.
I don't.
right now.
Yeah, that's it. You're
Yeah, can you just throw? You have water or something? That's what they do. No, just kidding. I don't ever get the holy water, and they throw it on you. But do you ever get comments sometimes, or something like Jesus dude is like, if Modi can, puts his faith in our Lord, our Christ, Jesus Savior, do people in your comment section or messages? I get some.
No, I don't get anybody asking me to convert. They're very happy that I stay Jewish.
Oh yeah.
No one's
They
saying
don't
we
want you.
would like you to join the Catholic religion. They're like, we're very happy right where you are.
Don't even join.
Yeah, don't even join.
Doesn't even
You're
help
good.
us if you
Yeah.
convert.
Yeah, but so at first you weren't so embracive of the Jewish
No.
of the Jewish
No,
audience.
it's weird. And funny, a Christian guy was like, when I was doing the small time, I just did a couple months, and this guy Smitty, he's like, Rami, you better fast for Yom Kippur. And he was like, always, you would read these things like from the Bible, like the daily bread, or like, like daily things, just, keep you like, pumped up or whatever. But a lot was like New Testament, Old Testament stuff intertwined, stuff they give out in jail. It's called the daily bread.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And this guy was just, he was, an ex-heroin addict that was just, from like the country, like Humboldt County, which I didn't know what Humboldt County was. Tell me about the trees of Humboldt County. Yeah, and he was the one who kind of like encouraged me to be more Jewish. And then other
Wow.
people would see all these, you would be able to go see like a priest and like, a pastor if you wanted to get out of this like block that we were in. And I was
In
like,
jail, the block that you were in jail, yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm like, I demand to see a rabbi as a religious discrimination. So that's when I first saw a rabbi.
Wow.
Wow.
And
wow.
then-
First time you saw a rabbi was in jail. Was it from the Aleph Institute? Was
No,
it?
I mean,
it was
I
just-
don't know.
it was
Some
the rabbi was there.
Yeah, some local rabbi in like Tom's River area. And then
I got arrested in
Tom's River area is a
River.
very religious area.
It
It's a
is?
very-
But
I
wasn't-
got arrested
It was like
there.
definitely a reform. Really awesome. Did you get arrested there too?
I
That was
never
all
got
of it,
arrested.
I guess.
He was
That's-
I've
actually
never
the
been
rabbi who
arrested.
came to see you.
Oh, really?
I've never been arrested, and the guest before you was a deputy inspector of the NYPD.
Oh,
this is
really?
just
He ever get arrested?
Did he?
He
No,
never got
he's-
caught.
No, he never got caught.
Wait, so let me just, before I finish the story, the guy came in to see me. Oh, and then the next Jews that I met were Matisyahu. And like, I was like, that was it. I was like thrusted into the world. So I went from like that to my buddy Jonah, who was drumming with Matisyahu at the time. He's like, I know this guy. And he was another dude who knew me, but when I was getting high, and he's like, wow, you're doing really good. You should meet this guy, and he'll let you rap with him. And all I wanted to do was rap. I'm like, on
Right.
parole, probation. I'm just like, blah, 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 just stay sober, get my paper signed,
And get moving on.
and just start rapping. And on Christmas Day, 2004, BB King's, December 25th. I was like, dude, I never saw so many Jews in my life. I went with my friend Andy, rest in peace. He just overdosed and passed, and he was like on ecstasy at a Modest Yahoo concert in 2004, and I rapped, and it's still on audio. You could hear this like on, it's like, I don't know, like archive.org or something. You could hear like all these old audio tapes of like Fish and Grateful Dead and this Modest Yahoo show. And Modest Yahoo introduced me very Hasidish-like, and he's like, next up we have our friend Kosha Dillz. And whenever someone introduces Kosha Dillz, because it's Kosha with an A and Dillz with a Z, as Kosha Dillz, I despise it. It would be like someone calling you Mahdi. And you're just like, I'll cut you. You know what I'm saying? Like, please don't. Because you build your whole life.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yes.
And it like pierces my heart. And I just remember this event. And I'm with my one friend from my past life entering this new world of Jewishness. And I'm like, dude, I'm about to hang with, you know, like a real life version of Ish.com, like everywhere, you know?
Ish.com is just like an organization that helps people become more Jewish when they want to explore that.
Then I started doing all that, and I was rapping and I was, you know, like, send you to Israel for $100, like Ish, you know. Like,
but let me tell you, when you
fun.
when you embrace performing for a Jewish audience,
They love
people follow. Other people who aren't Jewish follow.
Yeah.
They see the Jackie Mason, a big Jewish comedian, had a show on Broadway. It was a Jewish show, but it was packed every night with non-Jews as well. They saw this thing. It's like it was embrace of whatever he is, and
Yeah.
and if
Go
it's
for it.
real, it's real.
If it's
if
real,
it's
it's
real,
real.
it's real.
And that's a big thing in hip hop, is like, if the hood respects it, then Jewish people respect. It's a really interesting concept of like, you know, when I was like, the first time I was on BET, and everyone's like, and I'm like, I'm the Jewish guy, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, and I come from the place where people call it white boy, like they don't understand the difference, or like, you're just white. And, you know, to even like consistently explain like the differences now with all the nuances as time has gone over from the internet of 2005 to 2008 in MySpace days to 2011 to 2014 Israel with the war, and now, you know, the new one, like I just got posted for Bald Fest. My whole timeline's like Free Palestine, and I was like, because I got posted in the UK and they saw Kosha Dillz and they saw Israel, like my flag. So just, you know, and I've seen basically the morphing of the internet, of embracing and unembracing and all its nuances with rap music change. Because
Right.
once you're around for a long time, and it's probably the same with comedy. It's just like when you
Well, I was on BET as well.
amazing.
BET had this show called Comic View, I think it was called, and they had like 1 million people on, 1 million black comedians on, and when I say 1 million, I'm talking 40 comedians they would tape in one shot a year.
Wow.
They all came down. The one I did was in New Orleans, and the way it happened was
Or New Orleans.
and it was my manager at the time was managing 3 black comedians, and he sent their tapes. Back then it was a VHS tape, and he threw mine in as a joke. And I was the only one of the 4 that got taken, and it was because it was so Jewish. It was such he sent like a super Jewish tape, and there it was. It was me and this other white comedian, and we were the only ones. And it was their 10th anniversary. It was a big thing. It was incredible. It was incredible.
It was amazing. When I did the BET Cypher with RZA from Wu-Tang, and I used to show up to all the Wu-Tang stuff. But the cool thing about Wu-Tang is that like if you just show up and like rap for that, like, you know, you would think like, oh, you could just go rap for this record guy and he'll give you a record deal. Like people in the Jewish world will be like, do you have a record deal? What do you do? Do you rap? You know? And in that world in like 2009, 10, that's what I did. And I was with like Old Dirty Bastard Son and RZA, and they're like, get on stage. Now they're like, come on tour. And I'm like, oh my God. And then this story goes, in 2012, it was probably my biggest year. I had like a Super Bowl commercial. I played a lot of big things.
You had a song that was a huge hit on the Super Bowl.
Yeah, yep, Cellular Phone. RZA says, hey, come show up, and almost didn't work. And he had a movie coming out called Man with the Iron Fists. And I showed up and rapped, and then ended up going to the awards. I ended up battling DMX because DMX was wasted, and he started battling me, which is, you know, rest in peace to him too. Also died from addiction, since we're talking about that. I was there and I went on the red carpet with the yarmulke and I rapped in Hebrew, and I was very much being like, if I'm gonna be the Jewish guy, we're gonna have some Hebrew here. I don't care if it's just a show. I need to make sure that my presence is like, this is my job and duty. I don't need a whatever record. This is like an opportunity that's bigger than any piece of paper or anything. And to me, DMX told me something that was really interesting. He goes, you don't need to tell people you're different. We already know you're different. Just be dope. And I assume that's what BET did with you. If it's good, and people don't want, like, I don't want to go to a Jewish event and watch all Jews. I would love it if there was like some non-Jewish guy at the Jewish event or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah. You don't have to tell them that you're different. They got it. And
they get it.
They embrace it, and they love that you own
embrace it. Exactly.
You own it. It's
Jews. We're the ones that have problems embracing it.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
My manager at the time was like, you should work on your accent. Don't be so Jewish. And then
was he Jewish?
No.
Usually Jewish people say that.
Always. Whenever you pitch a show to a television studio or something, you go in there with this cute Jewish idea, and there's people in the pitch room who aren't Jewish that love it.
Yes.
And then there's one guy who's Jewish who goes, I get it because I went to Hebrew school, so I kind of understand it, but the rest of America won't get it. He's like, he's your enemy at the table. You think that the non-Jewish people would be
big facts.
Yep.
Stop hating on us, you Jews. Seriously. Yeah. Seriously. Hey, listen, we can go on about that, but anyways.
Well, good. So
we need more Jewish support in the war room over there. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, when it comes to bat, people don't think the Jewish ideas. But if you think about it, you and Elon, you guys have broken through to mainstream pop culture, and that is my goal. It is to be the Jewish representation in pop culture. You know what I'm saying? When people think it's Hanukkah, it's Tikta, whatever, I'm the guy. Talk about Israel, I'm the guy. Talk about anti-Semitism, addiction, and Jewish, I'm the guy,
It's funny. I did this show one time.
But I don't want to be limited to that. I want to do, like characters.
You hit everybody. You want to make everybody laugh, everybody happy from your music. But
they all deserve it.
One time there was a show on, it was Oprah Winfrey's network. I had done I had been on this like a game show, and the girl who was the talent PA remembered me, and they were doing this holiday show, but they had 3 singers, Patti LaBelle, Joan Baez, and the guy that was the winner of American Idol. I don't know.
Clay Aiken.
Not Clay Aiken.
Russ, the big black guy?
No, he was I'm horrible with names. He was a blonde country singer kind of a guy. Anyway, he was the thing at the time. Right. Anyway, and they realized this is a Christmas show, not a holiday show. So she said, I have an idea. Why don't we have Modi host it? So I was the host, and that made it a holiday show. The fact that we threw a Jew in there, it became a holiday show, not a Christmas show.
But you take the gig. You're like, take the gig.
Yeah. I would have, what?
Love it. You never know what email you're going to get.
My holiday show. Funny you said BB King's, but every Christmas Eve I do a show, packed, always sold out. We do 2 shows because the Jews have nothing to do, we did one year BB King's. Maybe it was that we were Christmas Eve, you were Christmas Day. Maybe we were the day before you.
Everyone's fighting for those coveted Jewish spots.
Love it. This year I'll be at City Winery.
Oh yeah, I was just there last night for the JNF thing. It was cool.
It was fun, huh?
It's a beautiful place.
Gorgeous.
Everybody says that. Everybody says it's so
I did
nice.
a show there at the Loft. It was amazing.
Yeah,
and but this is
cool.
the bigger room we're taking for Christmas Eve.
It's
good.
Dude,
yeah,
I want to be part of it. I'm not booked, basically what I'm saying. I'm not booked then yet.
We'll figure it out.
Right.
Tell us about Moses with the bars, and also about your characters, because I don't think we've talked about them on the show yet.
Well, that was my big fanship of you, is when I saw you doing Yoyali with James Van Der Beek, who is, I just, adore that human as a fan, and I started rapping in a tuxedo. I did rapping in a tuxedo. Shout out to my boy Blake Banks, who told me, he goes, rapping in a tuxedo. It was New Year's. Red and white tuxedo and a hat. My knuckles were bleeding. I went to the ball drop, and the first thing happened was the guy from New York Times, who was like the dude who took the main one when the people stormed the building, like this dude Ash Gilbertson. He took a shot of me, and I'm like, wow, I got like this awesome picture from this big New York Times photographer. This is like a good move. Then I was like, I'll keep the the hat, and I just kept going, and then I started rapping in the snow. It was my first viral videos. I started rapping in the snow. And then I was like, anytime it snowed, I would just dress up in a tuxedo and go out there. Then it was like the presidential election. I got a blue suit. Then I got a Irish St. Patrick's Day. I got a green suit.
I saw you recently in a yellow suit.
I was in a yellow suit as well. So the green suit I got on World Star. So I was on 39 on World Star. I thought it was a huge accomplishment.
Okay.
World Star is the most ratchet thing you could ever be on. It's
Just tell people what World Star is.
World Star is if you like see a guy on the train that's like completely wasted off like 2 bottles of tequila and then fights with his ex-girlfriend and the girl punches him. They're like, World Star. It's like that stuff.
It's also the kiddish in every Brooklyn minyan.
Yeah.
Before the rabbi speaks, they all get trashed.
World Star.
World Star.
And then on Passover I got a Moses outfit, and we did Passover on ice, which was we went to Bryant Park. My friend Hilla the Killa, who's also a great rapper.
Amazing.
And her name is Hila. She's also Israeli. But I got her a Pharaoh outfit. And we went ice skating, and we're like, Passover on ice. That's what was the thing we tried to do. That was a small video, but the big one was when I rapped, and she was just dancing, and it got like about 1 million views in Union Square. So that went around, and it was just Moses with the bar. So then we released a song called Big Matzah, and it was basically like, I love it when you call me Big Pop, but it was I love it when you call me Big Matzah. That was the thing. And that just kept going. And then I got on this show called Side Talk, which is a big street show, and it has like almost 1 million followers, and it's really, it's a 1 minute, man on the street type show.
Right.
And I did evangelical Judaism, where this guy, it was national, like weed was legalized in New York, and they're like, Moses, give me the okay so I could smoke weed. And I put my hand on this guy's head, and he started going into convulsions. And that went viral. It was like cover of Reddit. So everyone's like, you're Moses, you're Moses. So
you don't smoke weed anymore.
No.
That's
that
the best.
Yeah. But, legalize it, whatever. And I'm always down to do some evangelical Judaism, So Moses has been its own thing. And then I played with him at a show. I did a Juggalo Fest. You guys know what the Juggalos are? Like ICP and Twisted. It's like with the guys that paint their faces like clowns, kind of.
Do you know what it is? You know what it is. Okay.
I did like a Comic-Con. It was called Astronomicon, and I performed as Moses with the bars. Yeah, and then people are like, Moses. So, tonight I'm performing as Bald Moses. I'll do one song, We'll see.
Need to get one of those like trucks from the Chabad people.
The mitzvah
tanks. But they think they're like, it's not Purim, and I'm like, I know.
No, but when I'm on stage and all of a sudden they start to yell Yoeli or Nir, I'm like, I'm performing as Modi. I can't just pop into definitely can't do Yoeli.
Could you do like a set break where like do. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out of how to like stage check, and then I come back on 1 minute later. And then
the Nir character is easy. All I have to do is just pull this out, and now I'm Nir. I have the gold necklace, and I just...
Who's Nir?
rapping זה לא באמת לשיר. It's not really to sing. It's אתה מדבר, and go right into that.
Yeah.
But to Yoeli, you need the full payas and the hat and the robe and all that. And
Yoeli. But you should do that on the Christmas show, or Christmas Eve. You need to and you can have like whatever, a guy come out with like a accordion or something and just do like
But he's not hokey like that.
No, I know, but you have like an interlude. You have an interlude.
Yoeli is not accordion. Yoeli is a real live. He's a Hasidic guy that's cool and on top of everything. And even though he speaks like he arrived in America circa 1816 from Hungary, but he's still on top of it.
Could he perform a bris?
No.
On stage?
No. What? Where'd that come from?
If you could just get like something for an interlude, that's what I'm thinking. At least because I know that I'm gonna be like, guys, we also got a special bald guest tonight, and everyone starts saying, Moses is coming. So now tonight I'm gonna figure out how to, and then I just throw the robe on, I throw the beard on, I throw.
That's your thing, it's a robe.
It's a robe. It's 2 pieces of robe and then a beard and then a staff. And the staff is like it's broken. Plus, I have to it's like taped together. At this point, it's like a sad excuse for a staff. But basically, the oath. And then I split the crowd up, and I said it's like the Red Sea.
Hysterical.
And then everyone says, we're not like, don't touch Moses' staff. Don't touch Moses' staff. Kind of like that. And everyone wants to touch Moses' staff, of course.
Where can people see all this?
I have a lot of it on my Instagram, mostly. There are some Moses stuff on YouTube as well, but the big thing, the pages that blew me up, are what is this meme page in New York called "What is New York?"
Okay. Yes, that's huge.
Yeah, they posted today about Bald Fest, which is great. Yeah, we're like the content creators in New York. We're like rapping on the street. We're doing. There's a bunch of us nincompoops. It's like me. There's this guy Buddy the Rat. There's New York Nico.
But rapping on the street, you're throwing it away, but it's a thing. You're touching an audience.
You're touching an audience, and the idea is for me is like, listen, I just played a festival with G-Eazy, Meg Thee Stallion, opened for Guns N' Roses, Run the Jewels, Portugal the Man, Kosha, every major star of a band. And even at that festival, I street performed, and I made more money on the street than from the I made like 800. It wasn't Napa, so it was a little different. So it's not New York, but people judge the street because when you see something on the street, you walk past it and you don't think of it as like, people aren't used to it. They don't, the majority of people, and it's not the responsibility to understand what an artist is or artistry. They want to see the marquee. That means you're famous.
So the street thing is this. I'll explain that to you why it's in your head. When something is free, people think it's worth nothing.
Yep.
Do you understand? So whenever like a charity asks me to do an event, it's the kids, it's that, you could just do it for free. No. How about you pay me X amount of money, and then maybe I'll donate back. But if they're not paying for it, there's no respect for it.
Exactly.
It's a thing.
It's just how life is.
It's capitalism.
You'll get to an event, and because you
capitalism.
said, I'll do it for free because it's a great event, and you get there, and all of a sudden, it's only 50 people, so we didn't get you a microphone. It's only there's no food for you. There's no they don't set it up like you're a performer. They're forgetting that they're getting a many $1,000s event, here, and so they just don't do that. So like I said, when something's free, people think it's worth nothing.
My buddy said if you do it for free, you get treated like you're free.
Yeah.
And listen.
I think I said it better than your buddy.
You did.
I think you
said it better. You said it better, but it reigns true. And the worst is when people just to add on to that, and they're like, "Oh, I got a great thing for you. Just listen to me." And whenever someone talks, I don't listen. You know what I'm saying? It's just like an interesting thing in show
What do you
business.
mean? People try to give you rap stuff?
No, but they're like, oh, I gotta give, they're just, you could just tell the schmooze. Once you've traveled around the world, and I'm sure you've been everywhere, you've met every single kind of person. So you're like, oh my God, this is the guy. This is the guy that goes, Molly, listen, I got this thing for you. Listen, you gotta believe me, 100% of charities for the kids. I'm telling you, this is you need to listen to me to do this, and you're like, yeah, if you don't have my fee, I don't care if the kid is literally burning off a bridge and about to fall to
don't
his
be
death.
No.
But I do. If you want me to do it for free,
the reason the show is called "And Here's Modi," just so you understand why it's called "And Here's Modi," because I do these charity events, and I follow a movie that's horrendous. You've seen those movies? The kids in bed with diseases, they're raising money, houses were burned. And there's a movie about that. The guy, I lost my life, my wife was dead, and then the woman comes up, and here's Modi for some levity. That's what I follow. So yes, it burns your heart, but you cannot take everyone. You have to see it as a working opportunity, and you give it to them.
Yeah.
And you give it to them 100%, and and there's an energy behind it. By the way, when you're doing an event for a charity, I've noticed that now that I'm producing my own shows, like it's just me and a theater, and there's no charity behind it. I've noticed a difference.
What?
I don't know what it is. There's something when you're doing an event raising money for a cause. There's something different than when you're just doing a show. You know. Mm-hmm. I'm still working on that, but it's a thing.
I'm doing an event tonight. The Bald Fest is for Haitian earthquake relief. So yesterday I met a guy from Haiti. I've had a couple organizations from like Haiti. I don't know like which one to trust. I haven't picked one yet. And all I do know is that I feel comfortable. I don't know. I'm excited that I'm actually giving because I usually like play the events, like you said. And there is a certain energy. Like last night was a gala. Elon hosted this, gala. And you see all these people. It's an interesting world that is very unique to the Jewish world.
Philanthropy?
The Jewish philanthropy is its own intrinsic bubble. And I don't know if that exists in the Christian world or the Muslim world or, you know what I'm saying, the Buddhist world. But
I don't know if it exists. I'm sure they have their events to raise money for their organization. I don't know if they bring comedians, though. That's what I know.
Yeah,
I know
it is true. They bring
like
a survivor of like a fire, and then they're like, and here's Modi. Yeah. And I do realize that they'll be like, this guy survived a terror attack, and Kosha Dillz is going to do a rap now.
I'll tell you a story. I once did, when 9/11, 20 years ago, it was the anniversary just now, but we did this event in downtown Tribeca. It was sponsored by Robert De Niro's film company and his partner Rosenberg. I forgot the woman's name. But also his. And they wanted to. It was weird. It was a big audience. It was outdoors. They had Robert De Niro's up there. And they brought this woman, who at the time, they were going through all the rubble, and they were finding things of personal. And they found this woman's husband's fire hat. He was a fireman, and they found his hat.
Oh my God!
And she came on with a Gap bag. I remember she walked on with a Gap bag, and she said, they introduced her as a wife of a fireman, and she didn't even know what to say. She just pulled this out, and it was his hat. They found his hat yesterday. I'm following her.
Oh my!
I'm following her.
Yeah.
And it's like, I didn't. I said to the woman, I'm not going on. And she said,
yes, you are.
You don't have to go on.
You did it anyway.
Yeah.
You're like, it's too big of a crowd. I can't turn this down. I'll never get the gym perform in front of Robert De Niro again.
I actually had two friends that performed in front of Robert De Niro, and both bombed hard.
I performed. I'll top that. I went to someone said, Kosha, like, I need a good publicist. I'm like, you don't want to use my publicist. That woman was horrible. And then she died from cancer. I found out like the next day because I wasn't in touch with her. Rest in peace to Nadine. I've been in a lot of rest in pieces during this thing. Also, rest in peace to Tupac. Today's the day Tupac died.
It is?
Yeah.
Zecharon Levracha.
Yeah.
He was the best.
Blessed memory.
So I went to Nadine's funeral, which was at like the house of this guy in Malibu from Vice. She was she was involved with Vice a few years ago, like when it started. And they're like, who worked with Nadine has something to say? And they're like, Kosha, get up there and say something. And they're like, rap for us. And you're like, I'm not gonna fucking rap at a funeral. And I said, Nadine, this rap is gonna be for you because you're extremely beautiful, and I promised you I will not promote myself and my music at your funeral. And people lost it; they fell out, and it was really funny. And I ended up getting a big article in Billboard for that for months, like about something different, not because of that. But I was like, "Yep, I performed at a funeral," and that
by the way,
that changes you.
No, I've done very well at funerals. By the way. When comedians pass away and the other comedians speak, it's usually one of the funniest, I think, funeral was Patrice O'Neal's funeral.
Oh, I'm sure.
The comics went up there and they were roasting each other, roasting him. It was one of the funniest things I'd ever been to. But
the publicist's funeral, man, and I'm infamous for promoting myself. So people are like, I can't believe he did it. You know
I would write there and hold up a big sign, Modi _live on Instagram with no problem. Now, tshuva. When I was reading your bio, the word tshuva is in there a lot.
Really?
No.
No.
Repentance.
I would never write that word in
Yes,
the bio.
it is. It is.
On
You
what?
on your website, it says that before you got sober, you never associated with being Jewish, and then you.
It didn't say the word tshuva though, right?
It did.
It
It
did?
did.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it was part of the Jewish programming section. Okay, good. I almost like I have to edit.
Why? It's good.
No, okay, good. So what about it?
I don't know. Is that like a thing? I guess it's not. I guess it's not your main.
Well, yeah. I mean, I
Mike
want,
is-
I
yeah,
want
yeah.
to speak at Jewish schools. I want to figure out how can I perform. I want people to ultimately get to my music. That's what I personally want. I want you to hear my songs,
Right.
but you want to hear my story,
No,
or
I-
maybe my rap class or whatever I could do to ultimately get you to that. So I use my experience and all my programs to sort of get people to know who I am, to fall in love with me, because I feel like my message will help them ultimately. So I have a couple of things. I got choice A, which is, how to become a Jewish rapper in 45 minutes. That's a quick one. I have B, take your drug addict to school day at synagogue,
Right.
that's C. Or C, do a rap concert. And C, they don't know how to produce rap shows because they're synagogue, you know what I'm saying, or
Right.
Hillel or whatever. Or Chabad, but where all these organizations, and they pick one, and hopefully we get to the.
I just
bring
did a
them all
show with a
together.
Jewish rapper, Nissim Black.
Me too.
We
yeah.
did a show. We did a show together in Deal, New Jersey.
Yeah.
I went on. I did comedy. He did rapping, and they got it. It was fun.
I asked Nassim. We just started. We're doing like a little Hanukkah tour. So we're going like Boston, New York, a couple of places, I think, and. I always, because I'm like, I'd known Nassim before he was Jewish.
Really?
Like, I knew him 2008, and he's like a dope rapper. And I'm like, bro, you ever think like you're rapping and they're just like a bunch of just people sitting down and they're like in the wrong place? You're like, this is a supermarket. What do we do here? And you're like, well, you have to buy the food, guys. You have to go and take the food. You have to bring it to the aisle. So we're teaching, okay, now wave your hands. Like, okay, all right, we're at a rap show. Let's do it,
No, there's an energy in a rap performance.
It's a show you how. Everyone has
Yeah.
to stand up,
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that the Jewish community misses, is that they're not part of hip hop culture. They're not at show culture. They're not at comedy culture.
It's a very vague statement you just made. There are.
But
Nissim Black is huge in the Jewish community.
Yes, but I'm talking about the fans. So like from the religious community, they're not like at a show where everyone's sort of part of the. They're not like the Comedy Cellar is different than a Modi or Elon Gold show, for instance. It's just like it's like a different scene. You know what I mean? So people understand the culture of it. So like a hip hop show was a DJ on turntables and people up in the front, everyone's vibing. So it's just like a concert crowd. So it's like my dream is to mesh all these worlds together into one, where they all like this, and that's what Bald Fest is sort of doing for me. It's just been my big gem. So I'm getting messages from all the communities, which is ultimately my dream.
And when you say bald as in no hair.
Yeah, bald. Yeah,
bald. Right.
You could still go.
Me?
Yeah, I mean anyone's. Well, we don't discriminate.
Nice. That was.
It's very
nice.
no. We
Oh.
don't discriminate. It's a big part. If you look at bald on the Reddit page, they're like, we don't discriminate against people with hair. Like we were very kind to them. We don't judge anyone.
That's amazing.
Bald Fest
is Prince William coming?
I mean, I'm hoping
He's-
Larry David or Bill Murray just randomly shows up or something. Like I'm like envisioning it, and I'm like, I know someone's gonna come, and they're just gonna be like, everyone's gonna be like, holy shit, bro, look who just walked into Bald Fest, and you're like, who? And
Larry David.
you're like, Pitbull's here.
Wow.
Fucking
Pitbull.
Yeah, or The Rock. The Rock is here, guys. The Rock, and then the whole just internet breaks.
Some people just look good bald, and some people look like they're just in stage 4 of chemo. It's
A lot of people with alopecia and like contacted me to perform.
Oh,
'Cause they're
really?
Like this is really meaningful to me, and I'm like, oh god. Like so maybe some people will be crying tonight. I don't know. But we have I have all this great stuff. We're having a bald mitzvah, Pitbull impersonator contest.
what goes on at the bald mitzvah? What is the?
It's just it's just like the Hava Nagila in the chair, and the bald. I'm gonna have Bald Fest yarmulkes. I didn't get them made yet, but I have some yarmulkes. So people, not everyone's
tonight.
It's tonight. Not
So how
everyone's
are you gonna get the yarmulkes made tonight?
I just have regular yarmulkes and just go to autograph them or whatever.
I gotcha,
Yeah,
okay.
just DIY. What else do we have that is special? Well, we have all bald DJ spinning all bald hits. So like music from Only Bald. acts. Onyx, Right Said Fred,
Moby.
Moby, exactly. Just Hulk Hogan's old mixtape, So and then like what I think do I have this one guy supposed to do a bald baking demo. We have the bald mitzvah is gonna be good, and then we have bald trivia with this dude New York Nico. He's like a really big documentarian of New York City. He's like the unofficial talent scout, so we're just doing bald trivia.
That's amazing.
Yeah, boss. There's a lot of bald facts out there.
And besides bald, what else you have coming up? Like, what were the shows like?
I mean, that's it. I mean, this is the biggest one. I mean, I did the Bottle Rock Fest in Napa, so I played with the Village People. I mean, Casey Elephant, Portugal the Man, Mondo Cosmos, tons of amazing bands. That's like where I want to be. But the reality is Bald Fest has become so massive that I'm sending it to other festivals and like real festivals. Not to say the Bald Festival isn't a real festival, but they're all getting interested. And Warren G, from, I don't know if you guys, Warren G Regulator is Mountain Up. Like you know Warren G?
No.
No? Okay. Warren G's hip hop legend, West Coast legend, and he's bald. And so now I'm trying to take Bald Fest like on a little tour and get Karamo's company, mantle.com, it's like a bald.
Wow,
they
you just
reached
throw
out.
Everything.
They literally reached out to me. This guy's hosting the Met Gala. And
Do you know Avram Fried and Mordechai Ben David?
Yeah, I do know Avram Fried.
That's what my audience knows. They know them. They might know who you're talking about too. But
anyways, there are a lot of bald acts that could sell a ton of tickets and just building the Bald Festival name.
That's
and
amazing.
It's really big in the UK because like Lad Bible posted it and the Independent.
There are a lot of great
these
bald comics too.
Yes, a lot of
There
them.
really are.
I reached out to
George
Jeff
Carlin
Ross.
was
Jeff
there.
Ross,
Jeff
I was like, Jeff, please.
Jim Norton.
Jim,
Please.
great.
Please, would you? And
Dave
also,
Patel.
there's a guy doing a comedy tonight, and he's shaving his head on stage because
Oh,
I said
wow.
if you shave your head, I'll let you play. And,
A comic?
Yeah.
Who?
Because free entry. This kid Steven, he's just like I just like a local comics. No one's
Okay.
about. The talent tonight isn't. Tonight is more the spectacle.
Okay.
And to see who knows what's going to happen at Bald Fest, But we do have bald head painting there also. Oh, and there's a bald puppet show. I have a
my
guy who's doing his
God.
eggs.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, I found this guy in the park, and I'm really excited about him. And it's like he has like the puppets are going to eat another guy's hair.
Okay.
It's like this whole little thing.
I figured the puppet would go, I'm not only a client, I'm also the president.
Yeah. yes. So,
Okay. What do you think about regular Jewish music, like the Avram Fried and Mordechai Ben David's, or Shwekis and all that? Do you connect to that music?
I like it. I would say that I really like old Jewish music, klezmer. Like I feel like they're too popular. I want to go deeper, like into like the realms of Spotify with like 500 plays of like other like offsprings of them that are even more, because I know who those guys are,
Right.
but there's people that are even smaller than them.
Yes.
And just weird, like some guy who's still living in Uman making Jewish music, and I want to find those people. Like I love to dig deep, you know what I mean? Because I know those people exist, but I think it's great. I appreciate it all. I before I became full-time rapper, like I was like working in Lakewood, as like a waiter and stuff, and like all the kosher catering and stuff. And that was like my first introduction, like 05, 06, to see like kosher wedding bands in like Lakewood, New Jersey.
And they have a pop. They get going.
So my brother teaches fighting to this community. So I think he's like IDF Special Forces and a Marine teaching.
Wow.
Krav Maga, all that
Krav
stuff?
Maga to
Yeah.
Jews how to fight. Yeah, Alon Evanesh. Shomer 360 Krav Maga. He's crazy. He's a trained killer with a yarmulke.
Amazing.
What
Trained killer the yarmulke. That's the IDF. But no, I loved that Jewish music. I love cantorial singing. I love Avram Fried's, Mordechai Ben David's, the Shwekis.
Moshav Band is like my thing.
Moshav Band's amazing. I was on this show that was called The Jewish Star, and they were looking for different talent. It was a hot mess, but that's when I connected with him.
Do you do those kosher like cruises for like Passover? That's my dream. I'm like, I want to play a nice Passover cruise in Jamaica.
I was just telling Perry
Get me
before,
on those.
I
Come
was on the Passover on the Passover programs. You know, they
Yeah.
have to have those days in the intermediary days.
What are they
where
called? Chol Hamoed or
Chol Hamoed,
something?
yeah. So they get a comedian. But one year I did a show. The night before me was Matisyahu.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's there. Put it out there that you do the show.
Do it. Oh, actually, I'm gonna put this out there. I own the Instagram account for Passover.
What do you mean?
That's mine. If you ever
Passover.
I'll follow you from it. Yeah, I own Passover. So if we should blow it up, you know.
Passover. That's your Instagram. You
Yeah.
bought you.
Yeah, I
you
run
got
it. Yeah,
you run it.
Yeah. I was just like, you know.
So you're in charge of Passover.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
That's
Kosha
incredible.
So if
Dillz
you're-
is in charge of Passover.
Yeah. Shout out to my boy Reed. Yeah, it's like certain things like that.
You
Like
should get the one called Kosha for Passover.
No, just Passover. It's big. It's it's a bigger site. You know, it's a bigger reach. But a lot of Christian people were tagging me in, and I was getting pissed. I was like, fake news commenting back.
Why are the Christians looking
Because
for
they
you
just
so
tagging. They just tagging Passover. Like
Okay.
they're just because you know there's a lot of Christian Passover things. You know, everyone's trying to get their Passover
Message out there, yeah.
Passover show. Oh man.
Anyways,
Come on.
I think it's amazing that you're doing all this stuff and there's a Jewish flavor behind it. And only I could tell anybody that's in any entertainment or singing or comedy, embrace it. Don't hide from it.
Don't hide.
Don't hide. Moses.
Bad boy. What you gonna do?
Moses with the bars. I mean, this is just, they love it. People who aren't Jewish love this stuff.
Someone came up to me the other day, 22-year-old kid. He's like, yo, you're Moses, right?
That's awesome.
I was like, that's fucking right, I'm Moses. Oh, man.
Do you want to ask our seminal question?
Our seminal question, just wrap this up. I always
Yeah,
ask.
and I see her eyes.
Well, I
No, no,
have
no.
to be on the
On the clock.
Okay.
I always ask the guests, who's your rabbi? Like, it doesn't need to be a rabbi, as you know. It could just be somebody who's your spiritual, who's the person you look up to, or you would go to a question. And it could be a rabbi. It could be a rapper. Who's your rabbi? Who's your teacher? Who's your mentor?
Well, I don't have a mentor, unfortunately. So shout out to anyone who wants to be my mentor.
I'll be your mentor.
I love my brothers. Yeah, no, and I'll take you up. I think you know a lot, and I think we have really similar stories. I want to give a shout out to one of my real rabbis, Rabbi Yonah Bookstein, out in Cali, who has been very helpful to me in so many different ways. Then I would say my brother Alon and Zach, who both are just different. One's like barely Jewish, one's ultra Jewish party, and I would say one of my friends growing up, we used to call him Rabbi Madfly, and this guy was like, all his actions were the complete opposite of a rabbi. Since we're growing up, we were the opposite of what rabbis would do. But I think all that stuff combined, you know, for a real rabbi, the hood rabbi, street rabbis. Yeah, man, it just kind of makes up the story of life, and then that, you know, you sort of guides you through to the next step. I'm 40 now, so I have to look at things a lot differently. I take things different. I'm still single. You know what I mean? You didn't think like, oh, man, I'll be this age. At one point, I didn't think I'd make it to 30. You know what I'm saying? Where I was headed, I was surprised I was even alive. Then you get to a certain point, you're like so successful, and then to other people, but then in your own success, you've achieved nothing, you know?
In your head. No,
yeah,
but just to be proud of what you did and look forward to what you're going to do.
Yeah, I have this bracelet someone gave to me. I want to share it with you. And it says, make yesterday jealous. I was performing at this Bottle Rock festival. The week before, I was rapping on the street. Then I got a call to open up for Guns N' Roses.
In the yellow suit.
In the yellow suit. And someone came up to me and put this on me. And I said, wow, make yesterday jealous. I said, that is very deep. And I don't know, I just want to share it with other people because it's kind of like, whatever I do yesterday was whatever, because, you know, we got to look tomorrow, you know. But tonight, Bald Fest. Tomorrow,
who knows?
Who knows?
You got to make Bold Fest jealous.
Yeah, so
do full of hair fest next week.
Hairless for Haiti. We're doing all the things, and I am going to be doing the future Nassim Black, little Hanukkah dates with him, which is really
Amazing.
exciting. And, I'll be performing at your shows now. Hopefully I'll get a big booking agent, UTA, CAA, one of those places. So shout out to any of your interns that are about to get fired and want to come play with me. Just kidding. No, come on. No, seriously.
No, it's not kidding. You never know who
You
hears
never
it.
know.
You never
Listen.
know. And the booking doesn't need to come from a huge agent. It could be somebody that just like, hey, let's put together a show. And
Let's do it.
And before you know it, they organize it and it happens.
Yeah,
and those shows are usually the best.
They're usually the best.
And how do people find out about you? Let's get your info.
Yeah, Kosha Dillz is everything. KOSHA DILLZ. KoshaDillzWorld.com is the website. And, follow it on Spotify. That helps us out a lot as music. So our music is just in your ethos system. And I would just suggest to anyone hearing me on this podcast, take a deep dive into my music. And then you could learn more about me through my music. I've made music for over, 12 years. I have all that music on there. And people just want to talk to you. I said, why don't you just go digest something,
Yeah.
People want you to tell them a joke and meet you and say, tell me a joke. And so, you have to, it's up to them. You have to invest, come to a show, see you live. Every show's different,
Right.
And we've been working this our whole lives. So I would love to hear from you too. If you're out there listening, message me and hit a Bald Festival. Bald Festival is going to be the biggest thing in the world, the baldest thing in the world. And whether you got hair or no hair, get up over here.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And you're at?
I'm at Periel Ashenbrand on Instagram.
Followed. Already.
I'm Modi_live on Instagram and ModiLive.com. And the cameos have been coming in a lot, and I hope you guys are loving them. I love doing them. I come on
love
as
Cameo.
Yoli and Nir, and I love my cameos, and they get shared, and people send it back to me. It's so much fun.
I freestyle for people on mine, so cameo.com /Kosha Dillz, yeah.
Cameo.com /Kosha
But order it on the web, because then we get more money that way.
Yes, please.
Yeah, don't do it on your phone. Don't be lazy.
Insane, but I'm always afraid to tell them to do that, because then I feel like Apple will cut me off or something. I don't know.
My buddy's one of the main guys at Cameo, and I told him about Bald Fest. I told him about what I'm rapping for people, and he's like, this is the most epic thing ever.
Cameo, just in case people don't know, it's a way to get a video of me or Yoili or Nir or Kosha Dillz, and
or Moses with the bars.
You send it to a friend. It's amazing if you forget to buy a gift for somebody and they know the characters, they know me, or you can tell information, like a roast information about them. And I love my cameos.
They're
love
great.
them.
They're great.
And that's it. So I have some shows coming up in Houston, in Long Island, in Port Washington, and in Skokie, and Fort Lauderdale. Those shows are the tickets are live for that, and then I have the Christmas show, Christmas Day show in City Winery, and I have the West Side Comedy Club coming up. All of that is available in the link in my bio, and I hope to see all of you there. And anything else? Just say goodbye. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Gemar Chatima Tama. Hope you are inscribed in the book of Dillz.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Peace.